Hello everybody, and today I'll be doing a Gym Leader Challenge set review on Chaos Rising. So starting off with Chestnut, it has 180 HP and the Needle Armor ability, where if it's in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, place 3 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. And then Impound for 2 grass and a colorless does 160 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. I don't think this is the greatest card that grass gets, but I think it's fun to build around if you wanted to. You have the Meganium with the Wild Growth ability to double the amount of energy that basic grass energy provides, which means that each grass energy provides 6 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon with Needle Armor. And then you can put a luxurious cape on the Chestnut to hopefully have it live another hit. And the 160 from Impound could take a KO, and then Needle Armor takes another KO, so your Chestnut ended up trading positively. Next up is a new Delphox with the Flare Magic ability, where once during a turn you can discard a basic fire energy from your hand, and you draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. And then it has the Energy Storm attack for 2 fire. It does 30 damage times the amount of energy in play, both yours and your opponent's. So this does draw you one more card than the Mystical Fire Delphox, which draws until 6 cards, but you need to have the basic fire energy in hand. So if you whiff basic fire energy off of hand disruption, Mystical Fire will be better than the Flare Magic Delphox. The Energy Storm attack is definitely significantly better than Blaze Ball, though. So it's going to be worth considering which Delphox you want to play in your deck. New Optimal Fennekin, though, with the Call for Family attack for 2 basic Pokemon, you can get down your Slugma and your Ponyta to evolve into Magcargo and Rapidash, respectively. Next up is a Delibird, and I'm personally looking forward to trying this out at least a little bit. The Happy Present attack for 1 colorless. Both players may attach up to 3 energy from their hand to their Pokemon in any way you like. Your opponent attaches first. Now, the thing with this is it doesn't say basic energy. So you can use this in a special Whales deck with Wailord and Satitan, both of which do more damage if they have any special energy attached. And the issue was that you couldn't really accelerate the special energy into play. You had to use your turns attaching water energies and then eventually go behind on prizes in your reversal energy or counter energy to power an attacker up, and then kind of hold your prizes there so that you could continue to use the effects of reversal and counter energy, which both only work while you're behind on prizes. This new Delibird allows you to attach those energy in your hand, and because you're playing the Delibird and your opponent isn't, you know to prep and get 3 energy in your hand so you can get the full use out of Delibird. I don't think it's the greatest card, but I think if you get the 3 energy attached, it could be really funny and pretty good. Next up is Ampharos with the Synchronized Pulse ability, where if you and your opponent have the same number of cards in your hand, this attack does 80 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And then Flash Bolt for a Lightning and a Colorless does 140 damage. If you have the 80 boost, it does 220, which is very solid numbers to be hitting. If the Ampharos does see play, it will be because Flaffy Dynamotor is broken and already sees play, so like having an option that you can just throw onto it and potentially deal 220 damage is great. The other Ampharos that I would consider playing is the Searchlight Tail one for a Lightning and a Colorless, 90, and then you opponent reveals their hand. If they have any energy cards in there, you can do 90 more. So it's a lower damage cap. Your opponent has to have energy in play, so it's conditional. I think I like the Synchronized Pulse one better because you can at least play to thinning your hand down and then using Flash Bolt for the full 220. Next up is a new Deoxys, very reminiscent of the amazing rare Raikou, but this one is significantly more balanced. Psy Spear does 120 damage to the active for 3 Psychic, and then if it has at least 2 extra energy attached to it, it also does 120 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Psychic has no shortage of being able to accelerate energy in play. It's the most broken type in the game. There are 2 Gardevoirs here that I would consider pairing with Deoxys to actually get the attack to work. Shining Arcana lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck and attach any basic energy you find there, and then the other cards go into your hand. So it draws you 2 cards and puts any energy you find there into play. And then Psychic Mirage is also very good if you can get just 3 energy on the Deoxys. It will double all of the Psychic Energy's effect. So you'll basically have 6 energy on the Deoxys, allowing you to use Psy Spear for the full 120-120 effect. Next is a new Phantom with the Envious Evolution ability, where once during your turn you may put a card from your hand that evolves from this Pokemon onto it to evolve it, and then you put 2 damage counters on it. You can't use this ability during your first turn. So if you get the Phantom down your second turn going second, or your second turn going first, quite honestly, you can use the ability to immediately evolve into a Trevenant, even though that's the Phantom's first turn in play. If you were able to do it on your first turn, it would be insane because you'd be able to go turn 1 going first Trevenant while it's in the active spot, it item locks your opponent. So they wouldn't be able to play any items on their first turn going second, which would be insane and really funny if you had to pull it off. But I'm not sure with that extra clause of not being able to use it on your first turn that it is better than the Ascension Phantom. It does have 20 more HP, but Ascension just being able to search out the card instead of requiring you to have it in hand and then immediately evolving it so you can do it on your first turn going second, I think that realistically you stick with the Ascension Phantom. Next is a new Crobat, probably one of, if not the best cards in the set, with the Nighttime Maneuvers ability, where once during your turn, if it's in the active spot, you can use the ability to search your deck for a card, shuffle your deck, and then put that card on top of it. And then Poison Soundwave is also a very good attack. For 1 darkness, does 80 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused and poisoned. No free retreat, kind of sucks, but slap a U-turn board on this, and it's the greatest pivot ever. Liepard has trade, so you can stack a card on top of your deck and then trade into it. Or you could stack the broken Tyranitar that item locks while it's in the active spot, and then use Grimsley's move to immediately put it into play, and you guarantee that because you just stacked it on top of your deck without using your supporter. So you guaranteed get Tyranitar into play. You can put 2 energy on it with Dark Patch and then start swinging. So I'm really excited to test out Crobat in dark builds. I think this is a huge buff for it. Another new Darkness Pokemon is Qwilfish with the Poison Point ability, where if it's in the active spot and takes damage from an attack from an opponent's Pokemon, the attacking Pokemon is now poisoned. And then Venoshock for 1 Darkness does 30 damage, and then 50 more damage if your opponent's active is poisoned. Darkness has plenty of ways to poison. There's Garbodor with the Poisonous Puddles, where if there's a stadium in play, you can make your opponent's active Pokemon poisoned. And then Hypnotoxic Glazer makes your opponent's active poisoned, and then you flip a coin for sleep. But you really just need the poison because with Venoshock, that'll be doing 80 plus the 10 poison in between turns, so 90. So you could get a fair amount of donks with Qwilfish, Hypnotoxic Laser. And then the Poison Point ability is actually very good to have on the Qwilfish because if they knock the Qwilfish out, you could promote something else that works with poison, and now you've set yourself up without needing Garbodor in play. New Metagross with 180 HP and the bounce back attack for 1 metal. It does 60 damage, and your opponent switches their active Pokemon in front of their bench Pokemon. And then Metallic Hammer for 3 metal and a colorless does 150 damage, and then you may discard 3 metal energy from it and have the attack do 150 more damage. So 300 for 4, and then you discard 3. Doesn't seem great, but if we're only using the Metagross as like a one-time blow up their active kind of guy, then Metallic Hammer is a pretty solid option. You already play Metang because Metal Maker is like the best acceleration in Metal, and the other Metagross with emergency entry because Meteor Mash is not the best attack to be using. I think this one could see play. I'm curious to see whether it sees plays over the other emergency entry Metagross because it does provide a bit of draw. Into the trainers, we have Special Red Card, where you can only play it if your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining. Your opponent shuffles their hand in, puts it on the bottom of their deck, and then they draw 3 cards. Kind of similar to Reset Stamp, but I think I just prefer Reset Stamp. You can use it at any time, no prize card requirement, and then they get cards equal to their remaining prize cards. So you can Reset Stamp your opponent down to like 1, and then boss in the same turn, and they can lose the game from there. As opposed to Special Red Card, give them 3, and it'll be fresh cards because it goes to the bottom. Big Catch Nut is a new item card. You shuffle up to 3 water Pokemon and up to 3 basic water energy from your discard pile into your deck. This is just better than both Super Rod and Ordinary Rod. It's it's just busted for water. Most water decks will just slot this in because it recovers 6 total things, which is just wild to think about. You are limited to 3 Pokemon, 3 energy, but you shouldn't ever really need more than that, especially they go back into deck so you can search them out later. Helps prevent deck out, helps you get energy back, helps you recycle attackers. It's just a really, really good card. Next is Felipe. You attach up to 2 basic metal energy from your discard pile to one of your metal Pokemon. This is a great card. It's Metal's version of Blacksmith. You can use it to chain Zamazenta's, which Zamazenta is just the most broken Retaliate attacker in the game. And then Bronzong, combining it with Bronzong, you can power up a Zamazenta from nothing as long as you have a way to recover it. Bench Zamazenta, Felipe, Bronzong, and you have it immediately powered up. You can use your turn attachment somewhere else. I think it's going to allow Metal to be more consistent at like chaining attackers, which I think is a really cool thing. And I'm curious to see if Metal will become meta. Bubble Water Energy, the water Pokemon it's attached to recovers from and can't be affected by any special conditions. I mentioned the special whales deck earlier. Whaler and Titan both do boosted damage if they have any special energy attached. So having another water energy that is a special energy and it just provides water energy without any extra requirements is great for the deck. Last card and my most hype card of the set is Magnet Metal Energy, where as long as it's attached to a Pokemon, it provides metal energy, and then the metal Pokemon it's attached to has no retreat cost. So why I'm so excited about this is Metal Transfer Bronzong. Paired with Felipe to put 2 metal energy in play, you kind of have that acceleration going. You can use Matang to put more energy in play, and then you can attach Magnet Metal Energy somewhere. And then Metal Transfer allows you to, as often as you like, move metal energy from one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. What you can do is if they try to trap something, you can move magnet metal energy to it and give it for a treat. Or if you have an attacker that needs to move out of the active, you can attach magnet metal to it. You can just throw it in play, and then they literally can't trap anything unless they have retreat lock, which I think is really, really cool. And it lets you save your float stone, or they field blow away your float stone, and then you can put your other damage reduction tools in play. So it kind of forces them to make a decision, and being able to move the magnet metal is something that I'm super excited to try out. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. I'll leave a couple links in the description below. The official Gym Leader Challenge website is a great place to go to learn more about the format and get base deck lists. Cardboard Warriors website has community made deck lists and is a great place to go to build your own deck lists with their deck builder. I'll leave Limitless down in the description below because that's where I got the card images from, and then PokemonProxies.com is where I got the proxy images from. Chaos Rising is a pretty cool set overall. I'm super hyped to check out the metal stuff specifically, and I'm curious where the metagame develops from here. So thanks for watching, and have a good day.